Thank you, Madam Speaker. And to the honourable member for Esquimalt Saanich-Sooke, it certainly has, and I remember the fight we had in C40 in the 41st Parliament, fighting C51, the so-called Terrorism Act, the Anti-Terrorism Act, that I believe made Canada much less safe. And it's hard for me to actually vote for C59 now, and I especially when I hear his very good arguments. But I'll tell you why I am going to vote for C59. I'm very relieved to see what I thought the thought-chill provisions of C51, the rules against promotion of the unexplained terrorism in general provisions. Big improvements on the no-fly lists. Not enough improvements for my taste, actually, on CSIS's ability to take kinetic action. The big failure in C59 in front of us is actually the information sharing around what Canadians are doing with other governments. And the irony for me is that the Liberals voted for C51 in the 41st Parliament, and they voted against the destruction of environmental assessment in Bill C38. And ironically, I think they've done a better job responding now to fixing the bill they voted for than fixing the bill they've voted against, at least as far as environmental assessment goes. So I'm voting against C69 on environmental assessment. I'm voting for C59 because I do think, and I'm influenced in this a lot by Professors Craig Forsyth and Kent Roach, they overall think this is an improvement. I do too, overall. But it does not fix everything that C51 did to make us less safe. So I appreciate his thoughtful analysis, and I am going to vote for it, but with misgivings.
The honourable member for Esquimalt Saanich-Sooke.
I thank the member for Saanich Gulf Islands for her comments. I guess I am disappointed because I do remember that she was one of the few members of the last Parliament that was courageous enough to stand with New Democrats and fight against C51, even when public opinion polling initially said something like 79 or 80% of the people wanted action in this area. Now, eventually that tide turned because people were not prepared to sacrifice their rights for this mythical improvement in security. Yes, I agree that there's one significant improvement in C59, and that's narrowing those provisions around criminal terrorism speech, if you like, to say that you have to actually counsel someone to commit a terrorist act. But when you stack that up against all the other things from C51 that still remain, I think it is a fundamental diminishment of this country to have our fundamental rights so limited.